Coming up on iOS Today, let's give a read or a listen with some great book and audiobook apps. Stay tuned.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is iOS Today, episode 774, with Rosemary Orchard and me, Mikah Sargent, recorded Tuesday, September 30th, 2025 for Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Reading and listening, audio book apps. Hello and welcome to iOS Today. This is a show where we talk all things iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, HomePodOS, and all the OSs Apple has to offer. We love to talk about the operating systems that run on your devices, as well as the apps and settings and gadgets that you should be using to help you make the most of them. I am one of your hosts. My name is Mikah Sargent.
And my name is Rosemary Orchard. And I'm very excited to get our ears and eyes ready for some more books, Mikah.
Indeed. Yes. So today we thought we would talk a little bit about the world of books and the world of audiobooks. And let me start out by saying that we on this podcast do not delineate between the two. If you listen to your books, that is just as valid and real and wonderful as reading your books with your eyes, glancing from word to word. It is the same thing as listening to a book being read to you. So that we're getting that out of the way. There you go. So let's talk about some of the apps that are available to us. First and foremost, of course, is the built-in Apple Books app. You can find it by typing in books in Spotlight, and that will bring up the Apple Books app. Here is a look at the Apple Books app that has on your kind of main page the set of bestsellers, the $9.99 collection. This is everything that you have, but you'll notice that I have a section that is probably makes a lot of sense for me, which is a series of the user guides for different devices. So watchOS 8.6 user guide. And I can tap on that to bring up this book, and it's going to be very familiar to anyone who uses any kind of book app. It's easy to kind of imagine how this works. You swipe to the left and to the right to go to the next page and learn a little bit about, or read or whatever it is that you want to do. Now, this is a PDF that I'm working with here, so that can have an impact on how the content is displayed, but you can do some different things with it. If the item has a table of contents, you can view the table of contents to move to a specific page. It also has search functionality, and then you can set up different themes. So I can change the brightness of my screen. I can increase or decrease the size of the text. I can set up kind of a dark mode or a light mode. I can change how the pages move. So if it's slide, as I have, or curl, where it does that sort of page curl, fast fade, or scroll are the different options. And then you can set up different options for how the text is displayed. Original, quiet, paper, bold, calm, and focus. And each of these modes can be customized so that you can change the font that's being used to all of the different font options that are available on your device, as well as whether the text is bold. And then you also have some accessibility and layout options like changing the line spacing, the character spacing, the word spacing, the margins, and whether the text is justified. That will make a difference to how it is displayed. Now, this app works a whole lot like any other book app, meaning that you can easily look at books that you've purchased before or that you have now. Look, there's the iOS Access for All book, for example. And so I can easily read through Shelley Brisbane's iOS Access for All, which has... This is a book that is set up a lot more like what you would come to expect from an actual book as opposed to a PDF. So It's just kind of set up to be easier to read on something as small as an iPhone here. The Apple Books app, as I mentioned, has its store, so you can buy books in the store. It's going to have many of the books that you are familiar or that you would like come to expect from any of the book stores. And so there really isn't too many opportunities to like miss out on books because you're getting them from Apple Books versus like Amazon's bookstore or something like that. And it does have a built-in audiobooks section as well. So you can find, for example, this book from Leander Caney, Tim Cook, the genius who took Apple to the next level, the unabridged version. You can listen to a preview of it and download as well. And so it is available to you there in the Apple Books app. Anything else you want to say about the Apple Books app, Rosemary?
I just think it's a great option because in addition to downloading the books there and everything, you can also just put a PDF in. You can download an EPUB, and those can go straight into the Apple Books app as well, so that you can, enjoy books at any time, or other kinds of media that people have shared with you for long form reading. You could stick all of your manuals for like your washing machine and your oven and things like that in Apple Books if you wanted to. My dad has the manual for his car in his in his washing machine. No, he has the menu for his car in the Apple Books app because he likes to actually read all of them, but he appreciates the fact that you can actually, zoom in on a PDF version versus a paper version. So yeah, it's a really great app, and I highly recommend that people download it and give it a try because it's free. The books, as always, cost money. But one of these things with digital books is it depends on where you buy your book as to if it's available, and also how much it costs, because some books cost more on some platforms than others. Now, I personally am a Kobo user. That means I have a physical Kobo device. Actually, I have two because I'm that kind of nerd. I have the Kobo Ellipsa, the original one, which is the big one with the stylus, and then a Kobo Libra 2, which is a smaller one, which isn't pocket size, but it certainly is handbag size for me. And that's just the black and white one. It's not the new Kobo Libra color. But because of that, I also have the option of reading books through the Kobo app. So I'm not currently signed in, but you can see that I've recently been reading some books, including some Mikah, because, why not relive the nostalgia? But what I really like about this is you can just download your books here, read them, and it will sync your progress back to your physical devices as well. So yeah, it's great to be able to read some of your books. I've just got loads of random stuff here. I have no idea what I've got. But yeah, you can search for books, you can find something, you can search by author, and you can get books and audiobooks. Now, Kobo, much like Amazon, also has Kobo Plus. So Amazon has Kindle Unlimited, where you can have a subscription and get a whole bunch of books, or it's sort of like a library-ish, where you can borrow some books and read them. Kobo has Kobo Plus. Different books are in different systems. So yeah, you get options basically for those. But yes, so if I were to look for, I've been trying to remember the name of this book for ages, and it's called Ronnie and Suk, and it is a Romeo and Juliet story, but set in somewhat modern day London. And, Romeo and Juliet, so it may or may not end tragically. We will find out. But it's got some good ratings. And from here, I'm not signed in, but I can still add it to my wish list and everything. And then I could download a sample and read it. And then once I've purchased it, I can download it on my phone and just read away. And honestly, I love the fact that the Kobo app allows you to do both audio and ebook as well at the same time, unlike Amazon, which we will get to in a moment, which has separated those out, which could be good, could be bad. It depends on your preferences, but I like having both in one app. I think it is nice to have them both in one app if you can help it. Now, the Amazon Kindle app, of course, as we're kind of talking about, does separate between the two. Part of the reason is that Amazon's audiobook offering is an app
that was once a third-party company acquired by Amazon. And so Audible became an Amazon property, and therefore Amazon's audiobook offerings are part of the Audible app. The Amazon Kindle app is sort of deep within the lore and like lexicon experience, I think, of every person. It feels like it's an app that everybody downloads to their iPad or their phone, just to kind of have that experience of what it's like to have a book or a series of books with you wherever you go. And you, of course, have the sort of Kindle experience on Kindle devices themselves. But what's great about Kindle is that it does provide that syncing, right? That you can sync between your actual physical Kindle and your iPad and your iPhone, and all of that can come together and provide your books wherever you happen to be. I think that that is a delightful experience as part of the, if you go with Kindle. And that is where, some people argue, well, Kindle has like a stranglehold on the market. But I do think there's a little bit of that Apple sort of benefit, where when you kind of live in the garden, the walled garden, and you're using all of the different devices, they all work very well together. I kind of feel like the same applies when it comes to Kindle. I know if I buy a book in the Kindle App Store, yes, I'm not going to be able to view it outside of Kindle stuff. But for me, as someone who has Kindle stuff, it works for me. But here's kind of a look of it on the iPhone. So I have this book called Stitch It, Don't Ditch It, which is just a book that teaches you about kind of repairing your clothing. And you can see that it is very similar, again, to the Apple Books app or the Kobo Books app, and has the functionality that you would come to expect: a table of contents, search functionality, setting up bookmarks, changing the way that text displays. Now, one cool thing about the Kindle app is that Amazon has developed some custom typefaces specific for reading. So Bookerly is its sort of serifed typeface that provides what the typographers would argue is a better reading experience. But there's also Amazon Ember Bold, which was created for this, and then a great option called Open Dyslexic, which is an open source typeface for people with dyslexia. It is supposed to and aims to better help people with dyslexia read what they are, what they're attempting to read. Helps kind of the brain process and the eyes properly latch onto the letters. You can change the size, you can change the spacing, you can change the layout. I like that there's this sort of green option for the page color, and you can also set up kind of different themes based on the different reading that you do. Outside of that, again, it's kind of what you would expect from an ebook. I kept wanting to say audiobook, but an ebook app. One other thing I'll mention is there is a subscription that Kindle has called the Kindle Unlimited subscription. If you are subscribed to it, you can get a lot of books just as part of the subscription. So I happen to listen to a lot of fantasy audiobooks, and occasionally, because of the nature of those audiobooks or those titles, they come out pretty regularly. And that means that there's often a period of time where the audiobook has not yet been recorded or edited or whatever, but the book itself is out and I'm ready for the book. So I will head into the Kindle app and start reading it there to kind of have the latest. This, again, is just I think what you would expect from an ebook app. There's nothing there's not a whole lot more, and there's certainly nothing less than what is available. The flip side of this, of course, is the Audible app, which is Amazon's audiobook offering. And this is, I would argue, more like a podcasts app. And in fact, Audible did recently add podcast functionality to the app experience. So you've got your homepage, you've got your library of books. I'm currently working my way through the Cycle of Galland books, and I had started reading them ages ago, and then something else drew me in, and so I wasn't listening to them for a while, and then ended up going back, and so now I'm kind of finishing the books there. The Discover page, which has suggestions based on what you would like, but also what people would like. So you can kind of see your authors that you listen to a lot and look through there. The niche topics that I have, like mythical creatures and techno thrillers. I would argue I don't really read a lot of steampunk, but that's for some reason one of the suggestions. And you can browse by mood. You can see what people are seemingly excited about that's coming out soon. You can see what titles, of course, are on sale. But ultimately, for me, that homepage is the best page because it provides right there new books, new titles, I should say, from authors that I regularly read, and also offer suggestions based on the stuff that I have read through. So, if you liked this title, you'll probably like this title. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that these titles are specifically part of a credit system. And so with it, you can buy these books outright, but you can also, I keep saying books, but they're titles. You can buy these titles outright, or you can buy these titles with credits. And so this is an example. If I tap on this title called Catabasis, if I were to buy it outright, it'd be $17.63. If I wait until I get a credit, then it is for the cost of a credit, which is $14.95 a month. That's my subscription. So typically it's a little bit cheaper to use your credits than or actually most of the time it's cheaper to use your credits than it is to buy a title. But occasionally there'll be a title that's available for like $7 and I'll get that instead that way. So that's a look at kind of the Amazon offerings. Anything about that? And then I'd love to hear too, Rosemary, your thoughts on Libby.
One thing I will say about Audible and their subscriptions is cancel every once in a while, because they'll give you an offer for 50% off or something like that, or a couple of months free. So it is worth canceling every once in a while. The only thing I'll say, before you cancel, you got to use your credits, because if you got 6 credits and then you cancel and you cancel, you will lose those 6 credits. So use your credits ASAP. Build a wish list. Like when I am an Audible subscriber, which is probably about 6 months of the year, I'll just spend an hour at some point going through, listening to samples. That is important because some voices, I just immediately go, nope, this is not the person I want reading this book. Thank you very much. Other voices, I go, oh my God, I need to find out what other things this person's narrated, because they could narrate my shopping list and I would enjoy it. Strong white bread flour or whatever it is, it would be great. So use your credits, but cancel and then get 3 months free or half price or something like that. And then actually cancel at some point if you don't have as much time for listening. But definitely take advantage of their offers when they do that. And also remember, Audible US is not the same as Audible UK. It's not the same as Audible France, etc. You can end up with multiple subscriptions in multiple countries. That could be good. That could be bad. Just be aware and don't end up being billed across 3 different countries because you didn't realize they were all different subscriptions. Not that I've ever been there. Definitely not me. Nope. Wasn't me.
Have you heard of Club Twit? Well, here's what it gets you. ad-free versions of every show, a feed of bonus content, and members-only shows you won't hear anywhere else, like My Crafting Corner and Stacy's Book Club. It's the easiest way to support the work we do and stay even closer to the tech community around Twit. Join today at twit.tv/clubtwit. Ready to hear about Libby?
Libby is all about libraries. Okay, it is a library app, and the whole purpose of Libby, the library app, is so that it can, help you find library books, which are available around you. Now, I'm not actually signed in with my library card at the moment because new phone, and I've not done a whole bunch of things with it. I also only recently picked up my new library card. But once you have geolocated yourself, it will suggest libraries that are available in your area, which can be really useful for when finding out what other libraries you could go and sign up at to get access to their library books. And so you can see, recommendations by your librarians. So I can see the number 2 Feline Detective Agency. That is immediately going on my list. I am saving that. Thank you very much. I'll just save that. Because anything to do with cats and detectives, I am 100% up for. Thank you very much. And so there are a variety of things that you can get on Libby. So you can get books, you can get audiobooks, you can also get magazines. There's kid stuff. And one of the things that I do greatly appreciate about this is the fact that it is curated by librarians. And anybody who thinks that being a librarian is an easy job, first of all, it involves dealing with the public. So definitely not an easy job. That is not it. But it is something where it requires a lot of, education and everything to figure out how to do things like appropriately rate books for your library. Because while there may be an age rating on books, that is a general rating for, everywhere. Like the entirety of a country. The US, for example, pretty big. Even the UK, pretty big. And re-rating things for particular libraries and understanding, oh, yes, these kids in this particular class, if you're a school librarian, can benefit from this. So I really appreciate the fact that they have things like suggestions for quick reads, reading group suggestions, so books to read as a group of people, themed topics. So at the moment, there's a reading well for mental health. I love the fact that it's a well, as though you draw up water or, books in this case to help you. And for audiobooks, they have a little headphone icon underneath, at least here in the UK, with the number of hours that it shows next to it. So it's a little AirPods icon, and I can see that Frazzled by Ruby Wax would take 7 hours to listen to. And yeah, now, because this is a library, not everybody can have the same book at once. Sorry, I know it's digital. You would think it works that way. Unfortunately, it does not. But that's okay, because you can put yourself in a queue, and when that book becomes available, you can download it and listen to it or read it however you like. Now, here in the UK, Libby only works on Kobo. It does not work on Kindle if you're looking for physical devices. But the Libby app is, of course, available on iOS as well. So you can read things on your iPhone or your iPad, and progress does sync across those as well. So yes, I've had good experiences with Libby in the past. I don't know about you, Mikah. I'm sure everybody's experience, it depends on your local library. If your local library is severely underfunded, then that is going to cause them to not have as many great digital offerings, which is sad. But, maybe you can write to your local politicians and complain that they haven't funded a necessary resource for the community.
Yeah, I agree. Libby, fantastic. It is liberating even. And I think that's, part of what makes it pretty magical. My co-host on Clockwise and friend Dan Morin, his parents are librarians. And so he's a big proponent of Libby and kind of really got me interested in it in the first place. It's one of those apps that I think everybody should have on their devices just to try it and see, what's available to you in your area. And I think you might be surprised at what's possible there. Moving along now, I do want to briefly mention that if you have an app that you like to use for reading or listening to books, then please do let us know. If it was one that we did not mention on the show, you can email us iOSToday@twit.tv. Quick little news moment. By now, on Thursday, October 16th, 2025, you hopefully will have downloaded the point oh one release of the latest operating systems, as Apple has released iOS 26.0.1, Tahoe 26.0.1, and a few other 0.0.1 releases. These releases tend to be bug fixes, occasionally security changes, but regardless, this is important as it does help you make sure that you've got kind of all of the stuff, or much of the stuff, that Apple has discovered after letting iOS 26 out into the wild that is still kind of going wrong. So if after upgrading to iOS 26, iPadOS 26, etc., you have noticed some things that are frustrating you, there's a good chance that updating to 0.0.1 is going to fix that frustration, if it's something that's wrong, if it's a bug and not a feature. So now would be your opportunity to head into general software updates and see if there's one waiting for you there to get the latest version. I saw that in the sort of release notes, one of the things that has been updated is, it says Wi-Fi and Bluetooth may occasionally disconnect on 17 Air and 17 Pro models. That does not surprise me, given that Apple's using its own wireless chip for that functionality, and so I could very easily see that being a problem. Some people, says a small number of iPhone users may be unable to connect to a cellular network after updating to iOS 26. That's pretty bad. So glad they've got that figured out. Photos taken under certain lighting conditions with iPhone 17 Air and Pro may include unexpected artifacts. I did not see that in my iPhone review, but if you did, then that's something that you can fix as well. By the way, check out my iPhone review, twit.tv/HOT. App icons may appear blank after adding a custom tint. And last but not least, VoiceOver may become disabled for some users after updating to iOS 26. Plus, of course, security updates. So be sure to get that update if you have not done so yet. Moving along, we've got some feedback that comes in from Thomas. Thomas writes, "Hi, Mikah. I thought I'd share my experience with my new iPhone Air. Firstly, I'm loving it. I've had the Pro Max phones since iPhone 13, and I was getting tired of the size and weight of the phones. There are days with the Air that I forget it's in my pocket. It's so light. The battery concerns aren't an issue with me since I keep my phone plugged in at my office desk all day. I did that with my 16 Pro Max too. The few pictures I've taken with the single camera have been great, although that is still the one aspect I'm still nervous about. Will the single camera be enough? I think it will, but time will tell. Love the show, Thomas from North Carolina." So thank you, Thomas, for writing in. It's good to hear that so far the camera has not had an impact, for you. In doing my iPhone review and using that 8X telephoto quite a bit, and also just the bokeh that's available via 4X and 8X is also quite delightful. And yeah, I think I would struggle not having it, but I do think that as a person who regularly has my phone plugged in somewhere or charging in some way, the battery issues would not be something that I have had. And it's interesting, Thomas, you say that, and I've heard from other people who have gone into Apple stores and held the iPhone Air in their hand and said, actually, there's something to this. And so I don't know about you, Rosemary, but I'm kind of wondering if I should avoid going into an Apple store and holding it in my hand, because what if it draws me in and I suddenly feel like Smeagol turning into Golem, and I'm holding the phone going, my precious, and I have to have it instead of my Max.
It's so shiny and so pretty. And the color options aren't the brightest, which is sad. No, I would like to try and hold an iPhone Air, but I'm enjoying my 17 Pro. I didn't go Max. I just went 17 Pro, but it's working out really nicely for me. I used 8x Zoom this weekend, it's pretty awesome. So I'm glad I got what I got, but I'm really glad to hear that the iPhone Air is working out for Thomas. So if anybody else has bought the iPhone Air, then let us know your thoughts on it. And if you are happy, or if you're going to be utilizing that 2-week free returns period that Apple offer you.
Yeah, we'd love to know about that too. Absolutely. All right. I can hear the music. It's time for Shortcuts Corner. This is Shortcuts Corner, the part of the show where you write in with your shortcuts requests, and Rosemary Orchard, our shortcuts expert, provides a response. This week's Shortcuts Corner request comes in from Kenny, who writes, "Hello, Rosemary. I was wondering if there is a way to use the attention aware feature in my iPhone 15 Pro that detects whether or not I'm looking at the screen to enable or disable sound notifications. For example, if my screen is unlocked and I'm using my phone, mute notifications. But if I lock the screen and walk away from my phone, the notification sounds are turned on. P.S. I love my bang case suggested by Rosemary a while back. The extra action button is invaluable." I'd say we've got an automation enthusiast here, sounds like.
Yes, we do, which is great to hear. And I'm glad that the bang case is working out for you, Kenny. I ended up not purchasing it for my newer iPhones, my 16 Pro and 17 Pro, just because I wanted to try just using the action button, and that has worked out pretty well for me. But if anybody needs another action button, or they have an iPhone that doesn't have an action button, then the bang case, which has an exclamation mark after the word bang, is a great option for both a case and also a bonus action button. However, to Kenny's question, can you use the attention aware feature or not? And unfortunately, the answer to that is very simply no. You also can't use whether or not the iPhone is locked or unlocked as a trigger, because this is what we would need to do. We would need a trigger, something that says, hey, when this happens. So, hey, when this person is looking at the phone, or hey, when this phone is locked, or hey, when this person stops looking at the phone, or when this person, starts looking at the phone. The problem with starting and stopping looking at the phone, that's something that you do a lot. So I'm looking at my phone. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm looking at my phone. I'm not looking at my phone. And I don't know about you, Mikah, but I look at my phone and then look away from my phone a lot in one day. Like, that would be a huge number of automations. And even if it were limited to only when the iPhone is unlocked, which thanks to Shortcuts automations, that would be the case. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do here to trigger this. So it's a very cool idea. Unfortunately, it's just not possible to do. And it's a shame, because I would also quite like that, particularly if I were to put my phone like face down somewhere. And then that should be a signal that everything from that point on should go ding or whatever, unless I'm in a particular focus mode. But unfortunately, that's not a trigger I can do either. It's something I can check in an automation, but it's not something that I can just run as a trigger. So I'm really sad to say, Kenny, this is not an action that's possible. But, you can always write to Apple and ask them to add this as just a feature of iOS. That could be an option. I feel like they would be more likely to do that than add attention aware, like users currently focusing on iPhone versus users looking away from iPhone as automation triggers, because I feel like that would absolutely kill your battery life very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The battery life impact would just be immense. So
yes,
it doesn't feel like that would be feasible. And especially, poor Thomas with the iPhone Air, it's constantly going, are they watching? Are they not watching? Are they watching? Are they not watching? Would get a real drain on battery. If you're looking for more Apple coverage, can I invite you to check out MacBreak Weekly? Every Tuesday, they dig into everything happening with the iPhone, with iPad, with Mac, and so much more. Of course, be sure to write in with your own Shortcuts Corner requests, iOSToday at twit.tv. We are just about to the end of this episode of iOSToday, which means now it's time for us to share the part of the show we call App Caps. This is where we talk about apps or gadgets we're using now or have been using for some time that we think are wonderful and we want to share with all of you. The app that I want to mention is, it's not like the most beautiful app you've ever seen. It is called Reverse Audio. And the reason that I want to talk about it is because it is an app that I downloaded based on something I saw on social media that was cracking me up. And it's a little game you can play with other people. And basically what you do is you either say a phrase or you sing a few bars of a song, and then you play it back in reverse for the person that you're playing this game with. The person that you're playing the game with hears it in reverse and then needs to say it or sing it that way into the phone, and then you play it reversed, which would mean that it's actually forward again, and see if it matches close. So I could say, let's see, let's do this. Thanks for watching iOSToday. And then I will play that in reverse. That's probably too long. I'm going to say thanks for watching. Let me do that. Thanks for watching. And then I'll play in reverse.
It almost sounds like Klingon, Mikah.
Huh?
It
almost sounds like Klingon? Yeah.
Or
let me do it one more time.
But some kind of Star Trek dialect for sure.
I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do it slower, and then we'll try to actually make this happen. So let me try it again. One more time. I'm going to say it slower. Thanks for watching. Okay, now I'll play it in reverse. Sniff. And then I'm going to do that. Let me hear it one more time. Sniff. And now we'll try to see if I did it. Here we go. We're playing it in reverse, and we'll see if it sounds anything like thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.
Oh, that's insane. I love it.
Thanks for watching. So you get the idea, but playing this with someone else where they hear how they hear and they try to make those same sounds back to you is pretty funny. So it's like a little goofy thing. I've been told that it's easier with songs for some reason. And so try it with, just a few moments from a song and see how that goes. Yeah, playing taboo or charades with it would be a lot of fun. But this app, it's called Reverse Audio. Because this was a trend, this was part of the reason why I got it, is because since it's a trend, there are a lot of different apps right now in the App Store that are all trying to be reverse audio. And so you may end up getting one that is trying to get a lot of money from you. And so it's got like a weekly subscription, all that kind of stuff. The one that I have, it has an in-app purchase, a one-time in-app purchase to disable ads, and otherwise you can use it for free with ads. So specifically look for the link in the show notes to the Reverse Audio app that we have. All right, that's mine. Rosemary, what is yours?
Mine is an oldie but a goodie, and it's part of Apple Arcade now. This is 3s Plus now. Specifically, if you have an Apple Arcade subscription, look for the one with the plus at the end of it in the App Store, because that is the one that is part of Apple Arcade. So, to play 3s, you need to try to merge numbers to make 3s, or multiples of 3. So, for example, I have a 1 and a 2 in the top right. I'm just going to swipe towards the right, and that merges those together. Now I'm going to swipe down to try and merge some of those 3s, swipe right to merge more 3s, and I'm now going to try and swipe to just merge as many of these numbers as possible. This is probably going to get quite messy quite quickly, because I'm also trying to talk about the app whilst I am doing things with the app. So this is probably going to go off the rails quite quickly, and everything will go horribly wrong, and I will lose badly. And I mean, at this point, I can't lose. I will get points because I have made numbers. But the higher the number you make, the more points you get. So, points mean prizes. In theory, points do not mean prizes in this game. Points mean that you did better than you previously did. Woo, go sports. Yes. I'm out of moves because I was not really concentrating on this, but now I can swipe to see my score or tap, and it will add up all of the numbers that are 3s or multiples of 3. And so I got 156. That is not as good as my score earlier when I was playing this for nostalgia purposes, and got 512. I was quite proud of myself there.
That is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I 512 was a really good score. I was very happy with that. So yeah, you swipe to save it. But yeah, I've got some decent, 516, even better. And then I got 420 and then 156. But yeah, you can toggle on night colors, which is, nicer at night. There's sound effects and there's music. And if you go back to the main menu, then you can also, when you first open the app, there's a tutorial that explains how to play this. But basically, you swipe up, you swipe down, you swipe left, you swipe right, you add 1 + 2 to get 3, and then 3, then you match like numbers together. And that's it. It's very simple. It's quite addictive. It's an easy game to play, and it's just one that I'm going to be keeping reinstalled on my phone, so that if I am at a plane or just on a plane or just waiting somewhere for a while, I've got a little piece of free entertainment that I can play offline, no ads, and for as long as my heart desires.
Lovely. We love an ad-free experience there. Nice, not pay to play experience as well, which can kind of get obnoxious at times. Anyway, that is the end of this episode of iOS Today. I want to remind you all about our wonderful club offerings. twit.tv/clubtwit is where you go to become a member of the club. It is very easy to do so at twit.tv/clubtwit. $10 a month, $120 a year. When you join the club, you gain access to some awesome benefits. Every single one of our shows, ad-free, just the content. You also gain access to our special feeds that are available to club members, including our live coverage of different tech news events. We publish special shows that we have in the club. So My Crafting Corner. We also have Stacy's Book Club. We have like coffee chats and camera or photo time and all sorts of fun stuff, as well as access to like bits, clips, special moments that you won't find anywhere else. And with that, you also get access to the members-only Discord server, a fun place to go to chat with your fellow Club Twit members and those of us here at Twit. If all of that sounds good to you, twit.tv/club. If all of that sounds good to you, twit.tv/clubtwit is where you go. As I mentioned before, or if I failed to mention, it does start with a 2-week free trial. So it's a great opportunity to check it out, see if it's for you. I think you'll want to stick around, and we would love to have you there. Rosemary Orchard, if people would like to follow you online and check out all the great work you're doing, where should they go to do so?
Well, the best place is rosemaryorchard.com, which has got links to apps, books, podcasts, and many more things, including social media sites. But the one social media it does not mention is that Club Twit Discord, because we hang out there during the shows as we're recording. Sometimes there are funny jokes. Sometimes people make really helpful comments, which then make it into the show. But either way, it's a great time. Plus, there's a great place to hang out after the show in the iOS Today forum. Mikah, where can folks find you?
If you're looking to follow me online, I'm at Mikah Sargent on many a social media network, or you can head to chihuahua.coffee. That's CHIHUA.coffee, where I've got links to the places I'm most active online. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back again next week with another episode of iOS Today. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, folks.